Hi guys, this is Molly with Soul School Tarot and Astrology. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. This is a reading for my Sagittarius collective. So, Sun, Moon, Rising, Dominant, Venus, Jupiter, however you identify with Sagittarianism, welcome. I'm glad that you are here today. So, we are, typically when I hit record, I've got cards on the table. The reason I didn't do that today is because I also have a channeled message that I've been trying to deliver with all of my readings, and yours came through so strong that I was trying to do like another task, and I had it in my mind. Up next, we're going to sit down and do Sagittarius reading, and Spirit brought in like this whole dialogue with a song that I'm going to share with you guys. So then I'll pause, deal your cards, and get into your reading. I just didn't want the cards to create any sort of interruption or intervention or distraction from the message that needs to come through for Spirit. So if you guys are interested in following me on social media or booking a reading, ordering a recorded reading, all the information you need for that is below. There's also going to be an extended version of this reading that you can find over on Vimeo. I'm putting all of these 2021 intuitive tarot forecasts, by the way, are going on my December playlist, and then for the rest of January I'm going to back off of extended readings just so I can get more messages out to you guys on my channel here on YouTube. But nonetheless, check out the description box if you need any of that info. Skip ahead to the reading if that's what you feel like you want to do, but this is deep. I love this message is coming through for you guys. So if you know this song and you know the imagery that is associated with the song, you would know that it's actually, I'll just say it, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, okay? So if you know the imagery of that song, it's got like the hermit figure in the poster. And I feel like there's a lot of Sagittarians that this message will especially resonate for any Sagittarians who have been in a hermit mode, okay? So the vibe that I'm getting, where you guys are at right now, if you're resonating with this message, it is general and collective. Take what vibes and let the rest just go. All right. Is that you're ready to pick up and move on from this hermit mode. And oh gosh, there's just so much. I have to get into because there's so many messages coming through. I've got to get into the lyrics. The part of the song that has to do with you guys wanting to move along is the part that actually, when I was younger, I had a roommate, and we had this stairway with this big, like 2-story landing in the middle of it. And we had this poster with these lyrics of the song on it. And so they're like committed to my memory, but since I am channeling the message right now, I've got to have the words in front of me. This part right here, and as we wind on down the road, that's where you guys are headed. Our shadows taller than our soul. Here's the thing. The reason y'all I'm in this collective as well. I feel like for a lot of us, the reason why we've been in hermit mode is to deal with our shadows. If our shadows are taller than our soul, it almost feels like what is driving us forward at this time is less an inspiration of what is ahead and more a desire to flee what is behind us. Okay, there walks a lady. So as we get on down the road, there walks a lady we all know. There walks a lady we all know. I feel like this is higher self. Okay, I feel like this is higher self who shines white light and wants to show how everything still turns to gold. I didn't even think about it until today. That line is about alchemy. It's about alchemization. So if you are trying to walk away from, I'm just feeling there's a lot of really dark energy, and it's behind us because we're turning away from it. We're not wanting to face it necessarily. That the message is saying we have the ability to alchemize that energy before we walk away from it. That way it's not elongating our shadow any more than it needs to. All right? I hope that makes sense. By the way, the message I was trying to get out to you guys earlier is, even though Stairway to Heaven is associated with Virgo imagery, I've always felt like Led Zeppelin was a Sagittarius band. I don't know why. I don't I don't assign zodiac signs to all of my favorite bands, but there's just something very Sagittarian. And especially like songs like Ramble On, Stairway to Heaven, right? Like they just feel very, and also there's a lot of philosophy in their music and in their lyrics. And the sign of Sagittarius has a lot to do with that. All right. So let's continue with the song lyrics. If you listen very hard, the tune will come to you at last. When all is one and one is all. That's what it is to be a rock and not to roll. So what this is saying, part of this is bringing in, if you've been watching the last couple of videos, you guys know I'm obsessed with the law of one. Like I just got through, instead of the 5-volume set, I got the 2-volume set. I'm done with volume 1. I'm ready to move on to volume 2. I'm really excited about that. But it talks about the fact that you and I and that tree and my cat are all the same. We are all extensions of creation. We are co-creators with infinite creation, right? All is one and one is all. Now, in the law of one, they talk about the fact that the lesson of this third density incarnation, this reality that we are in right now, is to learn the ways of love. And I think that we live in a society that teaches us to walk away when love has gone wrong or not turned out the way we wanted it to, rather than teaching us to alchemize that situation. Okay, so that's just intuitive messages that are coming in. But when we talk about one is all and all is one, that dark situation that you just walked away from is going to be created again in the future if you don't also walk away from the parts of your shadow that allowed that past situation to develop in the way that it did. I hope that makes sense to you guys. All right. So one final message coming from the lesson. This is like my favorite line too. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's just a spring clean for the May Queen. So a hedgerow is basically like back in the day, instead of building a fence around your yard, you grew a hedge around your yard and you shaped it along your property line to create this perimeter. So there's a bustle going on in your perimeter right now. And Spirit is saying, don't be alarmed. If it feels like the universe is shaking you outside of a comfort zone, if it feels like the universe is maybe taking things away from your life that you didn't really want it to, it's just a spring clean for the May Queen. Meaning, this is a phase of life where we're going to have to move some of these things out of the way. Especially if you're looking on taking off on a new journey. There are certain things, and I feel like they are security blankets, okay? They're mechanisms, behaviors, and attitudes that we developed in childhood to provide with us a sense of security that we really needed at that time. And those same security blankets, so to speak, are actually, now they're showing me somebody who's trying to move and they can't because they're all jumbled up in their security blankets, in their coping mechanisms, beliefs, and behaviors that they developed as a child in order to deal with the lack of security that was available to them. Wow, that's big. But a spring clean for the May Queen means we're going to clean all this out in what's going on right now. It's a proverbial spring. Yes, outside it's winter, but didn't we just all have a winter internally? It's time for spring. It's time for summer. And so that's what's going on right now. There are old energies that your guides are trying to help you strip away. Old security blankets that you're being asked to put down. Why that now Linus, you remember Linus from Charlie Brown carrying his blanket. How old are those kids? I'm just saying. Okay, you're looking like a Linus right now. If you want to go ahead on this journey, you've got to leave some security blankets behind. But understand that that is just clearing the way for the new, beautiful new energies that want to enter your life. So there's my 10-minute introduction about Stairway to Heaven and the messages that it contains for you guys. I'm going to draw some cards and be right back. All right, guys, I am back and I do have cards on the table. So in another interesting twist, Everything I do, by the way, once I sit down to do a reading, is totally intuitively guided. So typically I would have begun with oracle cards and then clarified with tarot, but we switched that up in this reading thanks to spirit, and I still have not yet gotten the oracle cards on the table. So we'll just go ahead and get into the cards that are here right now. Where are you at the beginning of 2021? Y'all, didn't I say this? You're ready for a new adventure. Okay. What I like about, by the way, this is the Tarot of the Masters, also known as the Vashetta Tarot. The Fool, of course, is ready for a new adventure. Oh, that's so funny. Look at it. Its keyword is madness. And the reason I want to talk about that is because the keyword here in the Page of Cups that came out with the Fool is offer. So some of you guys have received an offer and you're like, this would actually be amazing because it would mean a whole new fresh start for me. What does that madness have to do with it? Interesting. And they did come out in this way where the Fool is looking at the offer. The Fool is heading in the direction of the offer. And another thing that I think is very interesting about this Fool card, it actually reminds me of a card from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle because it has this little jaguar. The card is called Power. And it's this beautiful feminine energy standing in her power, and she has these two cheetahs at her feet, as if like it feels like those are her familiars almost, right? Like, you know, like if a witch has like a little animal that will like protect it and go do its deeds, go check things out for it. I don't know what familiar do, but you know. However, this Fool is he's not paying any attention to this right here. So this jaguar to me is explicitly connected to the spirit world. I think you have some sort of guide that's trying to keep you from going in that direction. Or maybe even a part of the inner self that's trying to keep you from going, or just saying, hey, before you go, let's talk about the reason why you're going. And about wrapping up any loose strings. I don't know why these little cords around his ankles have to do with tying up any loose strings on the path that you're trying to leave behind before you begin a new one. Because otherwise they're going to trip you up down the road. That's what that little jaguar is saying. All right. The good news is by the end of 2021, that is no longer a problem. Okay. Any sense of affliction, there's a keyword there, that you have been feeling, right? I feel like these are the security blankets. Because, right, we're having, like, I'm getting multiple images of not, like, now it's strings. Some sort of fabric or material that is blocking your movement or tripping up your movement. So it's in the fabric of your thoughts. It's in the fabric of your emotions. Because we have both the 10 of Cups and the 10 of Swords reversed by the time you get to the end of 2021. And what this means to me, don't worry, it doesn't mean that you're going to be like lose all of your emotional fulfillment. What's going to happen is any old toxic ideas about what happiness requires are going to be left behind. Okay? In fact, this 10 of Cups, they're showing me that upright, these 10 cups represent your emotional legacy, okay? So going back to your childhood, the situations that you have endured, the people that you have encountered, and the events that you've had to navigate through have left you with a lot of very heavy emotion. And it's this heavy emotion that you want to leave behind, right? But that bag, they just showed me that bag is full of heavy emotion. So Spirit is saying, yo, we're not telling you don't go on the new voyage. We're not saying don't take this offer. But we're saying don't take that heavy emotion into this new situation. Because I feel like this cup that is being offered to you now, it may be like a job offer. It might be an offer of friendship just for a project to collaborate. Maybe it's a creative project. Maybe it's moving across the world. But it's there and it looks very enticing because it looks like the water in this cup, or it feels like the water in this cup is very, very pure and very clean and very new and sparkly. It's enticing. It's just in its infancy. It's just a little baby cup. And you know that what you're ready to do is grow a whole new set of 10 cups. But you're still carrying around, like, you can't just walk away from your emotional dissatisfaction. Your emotions are going to come with you. And all of the beliefs and expectations that your emotional legacy has created for you, Sagittarius. You have to be able to break apart the thought pattern that was created by your emotional legacy. Okay? So if you have a habit of things, or an emotional legacy of people abandoned me, you have to strip away the thinking that people will always abandon you. Right? It's just an example. And what's really important about this is these two came out with a star, you guys. This is, oh wow. This is the lady we all know, who shines white light and wants to show. So this is your higher self. This is your spiritual guidance that wants to show you how to transmute your past in order to create a new kind of future. Because what Spirit's saying right now, like, fine, go ahead, go start a new adventure in which you replay all the same old drama, or we could break through this barrier first, and then you could set out on that journey. This is dry land, yo. There's just, like, you go on your journey. The only water that's available to you is that old emotional baggage that you're carrying around. This is a renewable source of water. And when I mean water, I mean healing, emotional fulfillment, stuff like that. Okay? Stop, fool, before you go. We're going to teach you how to build a water filter, or, something like that. We're going to teach you. You cannot go off on this journey alone with only that old, nasty water that you inherited from your emotional legacy. Do you guys see what I'm saying? They want to teach you, but also the clothing. All right, okay, the clothing. This fool is wearing a jester's outfit. But here's the thing, is like, the fool's not a fool. It's wearing this outfit because it was handed to him by society. You see that? They're like, here's your costume, here's your uniform, here is who you're supposed to be. And you're taking that with you too? Nah, Spirit wants you to go naked. They want you to throw off, because clothing, to me, that's what it represents. What society hands us in order to cover up what we naturally are. So this is about your higher self trying to come through in you on a daily basis, so that you, instead of venturing off on this journey like a fool, you're going to be this beautiful, magical alchemist of love and light. That's what Spirit wants to do with you before you set off on that journey. There are 8 stars here, which says to me a couple of things. One is that this is an 8 of Cups energy, meaning this emotional legacy that you have and the thought patterns that you developed because of it has been creating time and time and time again emotionally unsatisfying situations that then you have to pack up and move away from. And as soon as you realize that and you're able to put those thought patterns down, replace them with new thoughts and new beliefs, then this is going to come in like whoosh. Because in addition to them representing 8 cups, they also represent 8 wands. Okay? Oh, now they're showing me pentacles, but they're showing me like spirit is working on you, Sagittarius. Don't go just yet. Spirit is working on you. Okay? And actually, let me show you this. On the bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Swords, which this is just an interesting 7 of Swords to me. I like this deck. These images actually were created in 1893 or 4. Multiplicity. Ooh, that's the key word here. But it has a lot to do with pride because it's got that line. But basically the seven of Swords is like self-sabotaging. All right. So, that's what I'm interpreting it as in this reading right here. Because in the typical 7 of Swords, you see the same thing. Somebody who is leaving the scene that they're in. And they are taken with them. Right? It's like, I'm getting out of here and I'm going to take these swords with me. What they don't realize is that the things that you're carrying with you away from this scene are going to hurt you in the end. And it's funny because I thought of this as an Ace of Wands. And look, we have the King and the Ace of Wands right here. Okay? So this full energy that you're in right now, unknowingly, unwittingly, it just makes sense for you to go ahead and pursue this offer. But you are unwittingly self-sabotaging yourself. I just said self twice. I know, I'm sorry, you guys. Look, and that's a Fool. Look, that's a Fool. That's the same, right? Don't go starting off a new journey where you're bringing other people's projections with you. Be your authentic self. Because that's what the King of Wands is about. But also, he looks really sad. And Spirit wants to teach you to see the past in a different way. That's what the alchemization is about. Okay? Yes. All right. Oh, yeah, I get that too. You see, it won't stop. It won't stop. It won't stop. All right? This cycle is incomplete right now. Spirit is like, please don't, because when you get to the world, it's the last card in the major arcana, then you start over at the Fool again. Spirit's like, don't do this because you haven't finished this just yet. All right? What's really going on, did I say 8 of Cups, reverse, and Temperance here? This, by the way, is my favorite Temperance card ever. There's just something really beautiful about it. Very beautiful and classical. And it says moderation, but that's not what it means. This is escapism. You're trying to run away from a situation that needs healing. It needs alchemization. Because that's what Temperance is about for me. The fact that we have both, right? Alchemization. You alchemize this before you leave for your trip, and anything that you encounter on your trip, you will be able to alchemize. Okay? So if we're going to use the metaphor of taking water on your journey, you're trying to carry this old, nasty, stagnant water with you. And Spirit's like, we need to teach you how to filter that water and make it clean again. Otherwise, because listen, where's your water coming from? What is its source? If it's coming from within and you know that your well has been poisoned, we want to remove that poison is what Spirit's saying. We want to remove whatever thought patterns keep you in these emotionally unsatisfactory situations. We want to heal something before you move on, because as long as this remains unhealed, God damn it, the transformation can't take place. All right. So they're giving you a tool. They're giving you a gift. But there's one more card under here I got to talk about. Because it affects the choices that you make. It affects the choices that you make. The choices that you make are not authentically aligned with yourself. They're not seeking love and light. They're just trying to flee the darkness. Wow, you guys. So that's what Spirit's trying to do with you. Okay? They're trying to turn you from a fool into a king of wands. Somebody who is able to take their energy and channel it towards in the right direction for the right reasons. Okay? That's crazy, yo. And when we're talking about the fool energy here, it's not like you're dumb. No, it's just something that you're not seeing right now. All right? And it's also, they're letting me know that these thoughts, patterns, ideas, attitude, beliefs, behaviors that they're trying to remove from your life were created in a state of innocence. Okay? Like I said, boo-boo, like security blankets. Oh my gosh. Those are real. I watched this video the other day. They did this study like back in the 1950s about what happens when like they rescued some very, very, very young children that had been neglected by their mother, like emotionally, and like the mother was there and present, but not emotionally and not meeting their needs. And it just showed this how basic development, even muscle development, brain development could not take place in a healthy way because these children didn't get what they needed. And the thing is the younger you are when that happens to you, the less aware you are that it's happened. There you are, baby. Hermit. Retreat and recharge. That's what you've been going through, right? Now, this is a different hermit than we see in the traditional, in the tarot, because this is, by the way, the angels and ancestors oracle cards. But he's not, remember, we're talking about nudity, so let's go ahead and talk about it. This hermit, Spirit's saying, look, you're doing a really, really, and look at all that beautiful star energy behind it. This hermit is really stripping themselves down, really stripping off the layers that society has hidden. This person has had to hide themselves under layers and layers and layers of clothing. The clothing are the security blankets. Oh, I like that. I like how you're looking at me. You just wait a second right there. More dreads. You guys, I said this the other day. This came up, was it my Libra reading? And I was like, y'all, come on. Druids didn't have dreadlocks. And then somebody was like, actually. So now I know better. Druids did have dreadlocks. But look how we got dreads on both these people. And now I'm thinking about Lenny Kravitz. Because there was a point in time where he cut off all his dreads in order to leave an old energetic behind and start anew. But Spirit is saying first, there's wisdom to be gained from these dreads. Okay? There's wisdom to be, that's beautiful. Retreat and recharge, and then hold the space. So you are being given opportunity right now before you move on. Spirit is saying stop and hold the space. Retreat and recharge before you go out on this new adventure. Because, and I actually kind of want to look at the book for this one. Because, let's do this. Remember I said they're trying to turn you from the fool into this king? This is the energy they're trying to bring you into. Take charge with authority. So that now the new beginning you create is not an escape plan. It is a very intentional destination setting. Like a very intentional, like instead of I'm going to run away from this burning tower, it's like, you know what? I think I see my happiness over there. I'm going to go follow that. Okay? Do you see? It's like rather than being pushed out of the situation, Spirit wants you to stop and alchemize the emotions and the thoughts and all of the energy that has been created by the past situation. And then from that space, the truth of your happiness will come from within. And where to go next, you won't be just kind of like, tra-la-la-la, I'm going to take any offers I get. You're going to be like, nope, I know exactly what that offer needs to hold. I know exactly what that offer needs to contain. Okay. Lord. I just think Lord's a funny word. I don't know. It's a funny word. Don't be afraid to take charge or use your voice. Be strong. So this is the equivalent of the Emperor in the tarot is what it's saying here. It represents an authoritative male who isn't afraid to lay down the law. But this does not mean that he's angry or chauvinistic. This has to do with boundaries. Making sure that you take boundaries with you on your journey so that we don't recreate the same situation that our emotional legacy is full of. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel like your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that. So if that's the situation you've been feeling, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to get out of here. I'm just going to go somewhere where people will not take me for granted. Boo-boo, I hate to tell you this. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. But sometimes we act in ways that allow and even encourage people to take us for granted. And we have to learn to stop acting in those ways in order for people to stop taking us for granted. And it's a hard truth. I've had to learn it too. There's no excuse for bad behavior. And the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth. And it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. That's what this little jaguar is trying to warn you about. You are the boss. You're being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. This is like if life just said to you, you're fired. This is you turn around and be like, nope, I quit. Let's get a self-care card and then I'm going to go over to the extended. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. This has been a fun reading I understand. I got you. This has been a fun reading to deliver and very empowering. I hope my tough love wasn't too tough. All right. So what this is saying is it's almost like Spirit is wanting to clear away any nightmares you're having so that now you have the freedom to dream. Okay. Oh, stop it. Are they not taking your security blanket though? Think big. Ooh, yes, there are. There are unseen forces ready to support your dreams. But, boo-boo, you got to leave that security blanket behind. And you have to leave the reason for the security blanket behind, which is a pattern of thinking that grew out of a legacy of emotionally difficult energy. When you go off on this new journey, baby doll, don't take that with you. All right? All right. Thank you for being here. Like, share, subscribe, and hop on over to the link below if you want to join me on Vimeo for the extended. Thank you, Sagittarius. Take care.